or you don't get to keep your position in society. You don't get to keep your job. You don't get to keep your anything. It makes you understand how all those people in the Second World War were carted off to concentration camps and everyone just sort of turned a blind eye. Or decided that that person must have deserved it. This is exactly how it happened. This is how it happened. And that's why I'm grateful to Fiona Barnett, because even though, you know, she deleted me, she blocked me, she didn't want to know anything about my story, she's aggressive, she bags out other victims, she's now teamed up with this shirter dude who is just like some random yank, and, you know, they've placed themselves as the adjudicators of who's genuine and who's not genuine. I mean, all of that screams of a setup to me. Many of her radio interviews I found traumatizing, and I talked to other victims who found it traumatizing, so I don't like that, okay? But I still think she's telling the truth. I still think she's telling the truth. Because there are too many little sort of crossovers with my story. Too many. Spooky things, you know, like, you know, I basically had a Truman Show situation where I would be coerced this way and that, and there would be a midnight man, a helping hand, somewhere there to sort of help me and set me up at the other end. And they weren't friends, they were being paid, or they were getting points in the system, or they were doing it for fun or whatever. But it was I just moved from one trap to another for years on end. And when I was in Adelaide, you know, through this sort of, you know, brotherhood, I would call them, through Leonard Choice, I met this Aboriginal woman, and she knew I was a slave too. When I think about her and I think about her family situation, I can't even talk about it. It's so full on. It's so dark. And getting to know her revealed, I don't know, it sort of revealed to me the link between these Zionists and the Aboriginals, why they use them, you know, they use them for lots of reasons. It's for the ancient knowledge that they get from them. They, you know, they learn certain things. Through the Aboriginals that then they use on all of us. But because of the, you know, trauma-based mind control that's been inflicted on the Aboriginal population from the get-go, you know, there are fallouts from that, right? You know, dirty little family secrets. Maybe they're not the same as my dirty little family secrets. But they're still the sort of secrets that if they ever got out, people would just die of shame. So I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to kill anyone from shame. That's not my agenda. My agenda is healing. My agenda is truth and then healing, not shame and then add to the genocide. But, you know, the secrets of her family that were unwittingly revealed when she went into a somewhere over the rainbow disassociated MK space really disturbed me. And I mean, like, seriously, like, don't tell me that, I don't want to know that, don't tell me, you know. And then, you know, I felt like she was trying to set me up in some sort of sexual situation with her brother. And but when she was in that space, she saw me as Nicole Kidman, and she sort of saw me as Nicole Kidman's twin. And I don't look anything like Nicole Kidman. I mean, I've got long hair, but we've got different bone structure, different everything, man. I don't look anything like Nicole Kidman. And she was not the first to bring Nicole Kidman up in my, you know, this happened a few times, these comparisons to Nicole Kidman. But, you know, when an Aboriginal does this stuff to you, it's like spooky, because they do have gifts to see, gifts of seeing, you know. I don't have to read one word of their history or whatever. I've had Aboriginal friends, man. Their bullshit detectors are like my mother's. It's full on. They see straight into your heart. They see straight into your heart. And you know, so you combine that gift with the sort of satanic ritual abuse, and, you know, yeah, they start seeing you, they start seeing your story. So, you know, this one night when she invited me over to her place, the Aboriginal woman, and she'd set up some sort of party on the bed, and so we would have a picnic on her bed, and it was just like, you know. And then she was totally in that space, and she was just looking at me and just going, "Oh, you're Nicole Kidman." And she was asking me, "What happened to you? You know, why is Nicole a movie star and you're like this?" A piece of shit under the foot of the world is what she meant. And I didn't know how to answer her. But, you know, if these people keep bringing up Nicole Kidman, she was the one who really stayed with me, because when Aboriginals do that stuff to you, or say certain things to you that resonate, you're just like, you don't brush that away. You don't brush that away. You don't brush that away. You take that seriously. Aboriginals are very powerful people on a spiritual level. And so that's why they're used. They're used for the same reason that I'm used, you know. And Bob told me that when you genocide, I mean, he was talking about the Aboriginals, but then he scratched it, he did this with his eye, whatever, so he was really talking about me, because that was a sign to his mates. But he talked about when languages die out, meaning when, you know, cultures are genocided. When languages die out, or are killed off, that within some members of that tribal community, they continue to speak the spirit song, you know, the spirit song of their ancestors that's been erased. They speak the spirit song. And that totally explained to me why I wanted to call my book Black on the Inside, because that's what I have been doing. I have been speaking the spirit song through my books, through my everything. I didn't know what I was saying, but now I do. So I actually have the same gift as the Aboriginals. I'm like a white Aboriginal to them. But even more fun to play with, because with the Aboriginals, they'll pretend that they're best friends and they're there to facilitate them, you know, like. But really, they're just giving them little sugar cookies, you know. And, yeah, cookies, not biscuits, because it's bloody... it's the bloody Americans running it these days, man. And they'll sort of keep them on side to kill off the people like me. They'll make it about race, right? They'll make it about race when it's not about race. Because you know, I grew up with a father who really, like, respected Aboriginals, put them in primary school social studies books. You know, like, when before that there was only Captain Cook. Like, my dad was like, kept folders of stolen generation. Like, he taught me respect. He taught me the real history of this country. But he also taught me, you know, the people that came here were wounded, traumatized, and treated like shit. So he, you know, it's not a race thing, man. But, you know, they love it. They love it when the blacks they want to kill off and the whites they want to kill off are at each other's throats. It's all about divide and conquer.